Well, everyone, welcome to this special Halloween episode. I am your host today. I don't know where Mark Holfey is, but I'm here and disappearing and reappearing. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special Halloween version of the Canadian Immigration Institute. And it's great to see you guys here. And I am not going to continue talking with these teeth the whole time. But welcome, everybody. This is the episode that is perfectly suited for a Halloween extravaganza. And you're probably wondering, why is this one so well suited? Because these are the most scary stories I have related to express entry and the people who tried to do it on their own. Oh my goodness, it's Halloween. Okay, stay right there. I'll be right back. I've got some trick-or-treaters at my door. I'm back. Unfortunately, my wife is away. And so while the kids are coming to trick or treat, I have to slide out and get them some candy. All right, let's see who we got here in our Halloween Express Entry Horrors episode. I don't actually even know if people are tuning in. Let's see what we got here. Okay, Cray Sports says, hope everyone is in good health. Never give up on your dreams. Oh, that's a good one. A little celebratory music to support that. What else do we got here? Miriam is laughing at me. Oh, yeah. CSQ horror stories. And Cray Sports is laughing too. All right, give me a shout out who's tuned in tonight. Titania, hey, my friend. Good to see you. Okay, these are going. Teeth are gone. Teeth are gone. Okay, probably some of you are wondering, who is Mark tonight? Who is this guy? All right, well, I'm going to show you who I am. If any of you have watched Wayne's World, I don't know if you know what Wayne's World is. I'm going to show you. Wayne's World was an old Saturday Night Live series. And so let's see if I can share this with you. I'm not even sure if I have one that works. Let's see. OneWeb. Let's see if that works. Okay, here we go. So there you go. Do I look like Wayne? No, this is Garth. There you go. I'm Garth from Wayne's World. That's who I am. You guys can look it up. Garth Alger. All right. Just to put it into context here. Okay. So we most definitely have a fantastic episode for you guys tonight on this special Halloween. And I want to hear your guys' stories as well. Jabril, good to see you. We've got Hannah is here. Happy CRS score. Oops, Halloween. Indeed, indeed. Yeah, indeed. All right. Chaitanya says, I was waiting for how long those fake teeth would last on you, Mark. Yeah, they ran out pretty quick. A happy Halloween from the Philippines. It's great to have you guys here. So the whole purpose of this episode is to share some of the most scary stories that I've experienced with Express Entry. Now, when I say scary, nobody was massacred. Nobody was killed. There was no, injuries physically or otherwise. But the reality is the consequences. That's what's scary. The consequences of people who filed their Express Entry application and then came to me, in every case, they came to me after asking for help, after the worst consequences resulted. And I think you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And so, yes, the bats, they're even here in town. We got everybody in town. But these stories, this is what I want to share with you so that you can understand the world we're in right now. And I can also affirm 100% that things are more scary now than they ever were when a lot of these stories occurred. And I'm going back probably to the beginning and sharing insight, sharing stories. I'm definitely going to answer your questions, but all of this dates back to even the earliest days when Express Entry was created. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start off with a whole bunch. You bet, Chaitanya, Turtle Jacks. Yeah, I did do a little post about that. Turtle Jacks and Canadian Tire immigration scam in Mississauga. It's everywhere. Wherever there's money to be made, people are ready to scam. And unfortunately, too many people are willing to buy into it. So in some of my tweets on X, I talked about the Turtle Jack thing. I posted it, said they should be basically shut down and thrown in jail. But the reality is the people that are paying for those job offers are contributing to it, but I'll leave that for another day. So today, this is all about my Halloween Express Entry horrors, and these are real cases that went terribly wrong. So let me start out right off the bat with one that you guys probably, you won't even think it's scary in the beginning, but here's what happened. Let me tell you. So tune in and we'll get the scary vibes going. All right, so here's the start. This is how it started. I got a consultation from a couple who listened to their friends in teaching them how to do their Express Entry application. So as some of you will know, you do not need to list any work history in the work history section that you're not claiming points for. And this couple learned from their good friends, and I want to add a little caveat here. Their good friends actually submitted their applications, were approved, and were permanent residents of Canada. So they knew everything, right? Everything. And so they thought, why get help from anyone else? We'll just listen to our friends who did it themselves without anybody's help and had no issues. So they told the husband, well, you're not getting any points for your foreign work experience because you are the accompanying spouse. Ka-ching, that's correct. We'll bring on another ghost. The reality is, these people, when they were submitting, they didn't want to waste time with reference letters for an accompanying spouse because you're not getting any points. So do I tell my clients to not put information in the work history that they're not going to claim? Yes, I do. But here's the problem. These wise friends told them, don't worry about it. If you list no work history in the work history, just list that you're unemployed in the personal history. Seriously, unemployed. That was my response, seriously. So they put the husband's work history as 0, none to claim. So then to make it match, they listed in their personal history that he was unemployed the whole period of time. Okay, well, guess what happened? The dreaded PFL. Let's see. Yeah. The dreaded procedural fairness letter came. And it said, please provide a background declaration listing your entire background, husband. And remember, no points were being scored for him. But they listed in the personal history that he was unemployed. In their mind, their super smart friends told them you need to keep it consistent. And so just list that he was unemployed. So the procedural fairness letter came. They came to me to try to fix it. And I think you guys know the rest of the story. I want you to tell me what you think happened. I want you to tell me with this first story what you think happened when there was a procedural fairness letter sent out asking them to provide an updated background declaration with his whole history over the past 10 years. Remember, in the EAPR, they attested that everything was true, complete, and correct. And you do too when you submit your express entry. But they attested that he had no employment. In fact, he was unemployed. So I want to see in the comments, I want to see what you guys have to say. What do you think the result was? Do you think I was able to save it? Or do you think these guys were finished? Because what do you say? Do you misrepresent again and say unemployed? And hey, what can they do? Go check out the guy's LinkedIn page. Maybe check out their social media. that he might have out there? Here's we got. Hannett has got a response here. Rejection, 5-year ban. Anybody else? Come on, let me hear what you've got to say. What do you think happened to this individual? Any other takers? So the procedural fairness letter came in. They said, Mark, can you help me? I said, I'll try my best, but what are you going to say? What are you going to say in those circumstances? Nikhil says, nope, they're toast. So here's what happened. As a former immigration officer, the one thing I learned right early on is that if someone came forward, took responsibility, acknowledged their mistake, begged for forgiveness, Jabril, you fixed it. Hang tight, because you'll wait and see the end of this story. Great hair. Oh, there's my brother. Shout out to my brother. We'll give him a good wolf welcome. That's my brother Milo. All right. So here's what happened. I said, look, you only have one shot at this, one shot to save it. We're going to complete an explanation letter in detail. We're going to explain your stupidity. We're going to explain how you were an idiot to listen to your friends who were helping you to do your application correctly. You're going to correctly complete the Schedule A background declaration, acknowledge every single thing that you put in there that was incorrect. And finally, 5-5, you're going to beg for forgiveness. All right. So what happened? Here we go. Manashresh says, wrote an explanation letter and submitted the reference letters too. Well, remember, we didn't need to submit any reference letters because he truly wasn't claiming any points. But the whole issue was being correct in your personal history. How many times have you guys or people you know not put everything in the personal history? How many times have people said, oh, I forgot about this other work history? And how does this spiral out of control? Well, maybe you weren't accurate in what you submitted in a previous application, a study permit application, a post-grad work permit application, an extension application to an LMIA, maybe. The reality is, in this case, and here's the suspense, I have no clue what happened to them. After we submitted it, I did not hear from them again. Maybe it all worked out. Maybe it did not. But that's story number 1, and I wish I had a resolution for you. All right. Story number 2. Here's what we've got. A client, I call them all clients because they book consults after, came to me because her express entry application, what happened? It was refused. And this happens a lot. Usually people will come to me at a time in which there is virtually nothing I can do to fix it. It's often too late. And with all these changes that the Liberal government has made to express entry, you have to understand that there may never be a second chance. You're going to have one shot at it, and then the reality is you're very likely never going to get a second shot at it. Okay, Miriam says, what's the moral of the story number 1? Don't listen to your stupid freaking idiot friends who think they know everything about express entry. Maybe that's the takeaway. And if someone is telling you to, and I'll add on, some friends are really smart. Maybe you can trust them. But the moral is, if a friend is telling you to actually lie on your application, that is a very, very clear sign, you guys, that you probably should not listen to them. There's the moral. All right, let's jump back now. Story number 2. She booked a consult, said, my application was rejected, and I don't know why. She said, they requested my English language test results. So, you guys, are your IELTS test results or your CELPIP test results, are those mandatory? Post in the comment. Is it mandatory to submit a copy of your educational credential assessment, your IELTS score, your TEF or your TCF, your French or your English? Is it mandatory to disclose those and, well, to upload those as a part of your checklist? Does anybody know? Post in the comments. I want to hear. I want engagement. I want you guys to be engaged. Okay, I love the visuals. That's great. Once again, post in the comments, is a language test report, is it a mandatory document to upload with Express Entry? Do you know? Anybody? Do you know? Anyone? All right, time's up. No, it is not a mandatory document. You'll learn about that in the Express Entry Accelerator course. Okay, Hannah says, of course. No, it's not mandatory. In fact, they don't even ask for it. You enter the information in, and it is not mandatory. Dana says it is. Karen says it is. I'm screaming. It is not mandatory, you guys, okay? This is why the story is so... This is why it is so scary. It's not mandatory. So here is the reality. Ramino says not mandatory, but recommended as mentioned in the Express Entry course. Stop it. Don't give it away. All right. Let's get on with the story. She came back to me. She says, my Express Entry application got rejected, but I uploaded it. I uploaded my document well within the 7 days that they gave me to respond. And I said, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would your application be rejected if you gave them exactly what they asked for? Well, the reality is she uploaded it, my friends, but she did not submit it. So whenever, here's the moral, back to, we'll go back here, see if I can find it. Miriam, oh, wait a minute. More trick-or-treaters. I'll be back in a second. Hello. Here's some candy for you. There's some for you. Some for you. Oh, tricks. No tricks allowed. There's some for you. Some for you. Oh, that's for me. Some for you. Happy Halloween. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Trick-or-treaters, you can't leave them waiting. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, so back to the story. So she uploaded her doc. Oh, for goodness sakes. Okay, be patient. I'll be back. Oh, all right, here we go. Here we go. Here's the story. I know you're waiting. You're probably wondering what the heck I'm doing. It's Halloween. All right, here we go. So she uploaded it into her document checklist. She could see it on the list of documents. She was so excited. And guess what happened? There is a button below at the bottom of your Express Entry application. That button says, continue. She did not click the button to actually upload her new document into the system. In fact, the first thing I said was, let's take a look. I love Zoom. It's how my whole firm operates. In fact, I think that at that time, this was pre-pandemic, I was using Skype. So we went on, she logged in, she showed me her profile, her EAPR. We went to the document checklist, and lo and behold, it showed uploaded, not submitted. Guess, you guys, what the result was. Were we able to save it? Were we able to save it? I want to hear your comments. Do you think that Mark was able to save that one? Let me know. Did a miracle happen and miracles dropped out of the sky? Was Mark able to save it? Let me know. So remember, her application was rejected. It was absolutely rejected. Well, look at those. Let's get rid of those. So what do you think? Post in the comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Dana says yes. Ramino says rejected. Okay. Romero says 101% I was able to save it. Okay. For sure, says Dana. Here's the reality, and this is the most scary part. Let's see, which one we're going to choose. This one. This is the most scary part. No. There was not a thing that we could do to fix it. Now, in the past, in the early days of Express Entry, we would try to judicially review these. We would try to say, hey, this person didn't include this document, but really the document was just small. It was minor. It wasn't a big deal. Or she tried to upload it. She didn't understand the portal, how it worked. She just missed it. But in this case, the client didn't want to she didn't want to bother judicially reviewing it, which can cost like up to $10,000 if you actually try to challenge it in federal court. And in the end, I never heard from her again. But there was not a thing that she could do because they had said, submit it. They told her how to do it, and she didn't follow through. So despite all of you guys and your support and your believing that this is something that's actually possible and that Mark can fix all things, no siree. Jane, hello, Jane. Good to see you. So the reality is, in this one, once again, she was history, and let's pull her in. This is what happened to her right here. Never coming back. All right. Hannah says, Mark, can I ask you a scary question? At what score do you think I got my ITA? Okay, Hannah, we're going to play this game. I want you to tell me what year you got your ITA. Okay, that's what I want you to tell me. Okay, all right. So this woman, nope, didn't work out. That's what's so awful about this. Something as inconsequential as that resulted in absolutely nothing. Past subscriber, Gooner Boy. Good to see you, my friend. Okay, here's the next one. Another story. How do we set the stage? Let's go with thunder. All right. Oh, 2018, says Hannah. 2018? I'm doing my math in my head. I'm going to say you got drawn with 435 points. 435, Hannah. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say 435. Could be higher, but I was going low just because you asked. So I'll go with 425 or 435. Okay, so back to the story. Once again, this guy books a consult with me, an awesome Brazilian guy, really good dude. He had been in Canada, and in his case, he had gone through the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program's Express Entry stream. Hannah says 447. Close. I was a little low. All right. So this guy from Brazil, he reaches out, books a consult. Guess what? His application got rejected. So he comes to me. We look at it. I say, why? It was a knock code issue. They did not believe that his duties, he had demonstrated that he had performed a substantial number of the main duties in his reference letter when he was submitting his application and choosing the knock code. Now, here's the kicker, you guys. This guy started his journey to Canada. He used a consultant down here, local consultant. They applied for an LMIA, and he got a work permit to come from Brazil. First work permit, LMIA based. He got to Alberta. He then submitted an Alberta opportunity, what was an express entry application through the express entry stream. He was drawn through his profile, and I think his score was low. Like it was like 330s maybe. He was older. He was working in a lower level LMIA position, but in Alberta in those days, it wasn't an issue. And so he submitted his Alberta Advantage Immigration Program application, got his nomination, And after he received the nomination, he submitted his express entry. He got the extra 600 points. Boom. He was loving life. Well, he used the same reference letter all the way through, start to finish. I looked at the reference letter and it was crap. It was just one paragraph of duties that were super vague, super, super vague. They covered a few things, but they were very, very general. And so in this case, like I said, his application was rejected. So what do you think happened to him? I want to see, do you think I was able to save that one? Remember, he had a previous consultant who had submitted the application, had used the same reference letter all the way through for his work permit, the PNP, and for express entry. And there is a moral to the story, which I'll share. I'm dressed as the blonde Mark Miller. Oh my goodness, I got to have a good one. That's a howl. That's a howl. Do you think I was able to save the application of this guy? Remember, he used a consultant. They used the same reference letter all the way through, literally the same reference letter. I think they may have updated it slightly, but the same job description. Inked says, much love, but nope. Rejected 400%, says Manas. Anybody else? What are your takes? Do you think that it was successful? Do you think this guy, that I was able to save it? Remember, it was already refused. Now, while I'm waiting for some other responses, the only procedure that you can have really is to try to request reconsideration or file a leave application for judicial review. So there was a little bit more wiggle room. I'll give you a little hint here, because he did upload the documents. The reality was it just wasn't good enough. Okay. So unlike the one lady who had uploaded her language test results, but she didn't click submit, this person actually had submitted it, but it was really poor. So Gunnar Boy says, you worked a miracle. You were able to save it. So here's what we did. All right. In this case, Mark played hardball. And I thought to myself, you already have had multiple immigration officers and other provincial officials look at this letter and have no problem with using it for the purposes of proving a knock code. So right off the bat, one of the things identified in the letter, oh, hang tight, hang tight. More trick-or-treaters. I'll be back in a second. Oh, hello, hello. There's some candy for you. There's some candy for you. Happy Halloween. Okay, that's the last one. My wife is back, I think, with our dog. Maybe. At least I think I hear them outside. Okay, we're back. Yep, they're here. All right, Simba. Hey, Simba, come here. Let's see if he likes my outfit. Come here. Come on. Hop up and say hi. Hop up. Come on. Let's go. Hop up. All right. There's Simba. We're here. He's going to be handing out candy now, aren't you? All right, there we go. Okay. Back to the story. I said to IRCC, how can you refuse this when another officer already approved it? That was the question. And then I went through and I got the employer to take that lame explanation in the reference letter, those lame duties, and take the whatever word they had used, whether it was managing operations, and provide a new reference letter that actually expanded on it. So provided more detail. And I emphasized in the letter that even though this general heading, even though this paragraph, one paragraph of information, which is like 2 lines, was general, it still covered all of the areas of the knock code. Sure, it wasn't pretty. Sure, it could have been a little bit more specific, but it was close enough. And I basically stated in the reference letter, I put a nice table, like I do in my express entry course, that laid out how each of those lame duties listed actually matched up with the proper ones in the knock. So I laid it all out for them. I got a new reference letter from the employer. And just in the end, just at the very end, I added, because I was playing a little bit more hardball, I basically said, look, if you're telling me that your previous officer who approved the work permit, as well as the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program, that they were both wrong and you're right, well, I think this creates a little bit of uncertainty in the law. And if that's the case, we probably need a judge to determine whether or not your response was correct, officer, or whether the previous officer before you who had no problems with it was wrong. And so we might have to file a leave application for judicial review if you do not reconsider this application and explain to me your rationale. Well, what do you think happened? What do you think? We've had those, and I'll finish it off. Anything is possible, not necessarily with Mr. Holthe, but the reality is 1 week, and it was the only time, that's a little spoiler, the only time I got the passport request 1 week later after filing the reconsideration request. And this fine Brazilian fellow is a good friend today, a happy permanent resident, and miraculously, that one was successful and I was able to save it. Now, what's the moral of the story? You cannot take knock codes lightly. You can't take reference letters lightly. You can't just copy and paste the knock description, all of those duties, and paste them into a reference letter. You can't do that. They'll say, whatever. No employer just copies the knock for their job descriptions. You can't be lazy and just throw a few words in that describe your position. You must meet all of the duties listed, all of the essential duties, but essentially what you're trying to hit is about 75%. So that's what we targeted, you guys. And yes, Gooner Boy, I was in that case able to save it. All right. We're going to get to, I'll open it up at the end to basic questions, but Ink Tattoo says, IRCC sending more trick-or-treaters to keep us hanging here. Yes, I'm sorry. My wife is here now, so we won't have to worry about that. Colleen says, it's a funny episode. What an original and entertaining show. Why not? Chaitanya, oh, you posted some comments, didn't you, Chaitanya? She said, got approved, no questions asked. Yes, you did actually. Boy, yours was tricky. It just took forever to get your landing, didn't it? I'm trying to remember if I've got, Chaitanya, what you posted. Oh, here's yours. He says, Mark knows about my ITA since he helped me apply for my PR. Hopefully you still remember, Mark. Of course I do, Chaitanya. 2021 ITA, those were the glory days. Those were the good days, weren't they? Okay, let's see if we can hit a couple more comments and then we'll jump back. Gooner Boy says, I had the same confusion with my reference letter. I had to get a new one in the correct format just to avoid any hiccups. Absolutely. I will give you, let's see. I don't really have too much. I'll give you a wolf howl for that one. That's what you do. Okay. All right. Okay. So next, okay, let's jump to the next one. Oh, got it, says Asianab. All right. So here's the next thing that you're going to do. The next story, I guess I'm going to share. We'll do a little bit of, okay, the next scary story. Here we go. All right, let me just pull this one off. And people who are tuning in late, this is what's going on. It's our Halloween Express Entry horror stories with your host, Garth, the vampire. And those of you who are wondering who I am, I'm this guy right here. Let's see if I can find it. Right here. Okay, I'm him. This is me. Okay, that's Garth right here. Dana Carvey, and this is Garth Algar. Do I look the same? My hair's a little bit more ratty, I think. His is a little bit more combed. Anyways, okay, let's get back to it. Oh my goodness! Everything is taking over. Okay, we're okay. Let's get to it. Once again, Thunder, next story. Oh, I've got a ton of these, you guys. I've got a ton. Here's the next one. In this case, This is one of my own clients. And has Mark had horror stories of his own? Yes. Let me tell you this one. Let me tell you. So this wonderful couple from the States, wonderful couple, recently got married. The principal applicant had an ITA. So excited they retained me to help them with their application. As many of you know, I'm not like normal firms. We're just a small little team. We work directly with our clients. And so it was me and them over a Zoom call. We went through everything in their application forensically. I reviewed all the documents. I reviewed all the information with them. We corrected what we needed to correct. We made sure everything was uploaded. We submitted it and we celebrated with a howl. The howl, though, turned to a crazy person's scream. Why? Because they got their application refused. The clients reached out to me and said, Mark, our application got refused. And I said, how is that possible? How is that even possible? Well, here's how it became possible. There are civil status documents that you have to upload. If you have young children, you have to upload birth certificates. If you are married, you have to upload a marriage certificate. And in their case, they refused because of the marriage certificate. And I said to myself, how is that possible? We looked at your marriage certificate. And so we pulled up the marriage certificate and I looked at it again. Then I read the refusal letter. And the refusal letter said the marriage certificate must be a proper state marriage certificate. So you can imagine, in the US, marriage certificates are issued at the state level. And if they're issued at the state level, there are how many? 50 plus, like how many states are there in the US? I don't even remember. 50 plus different marriage certificates for each state. Well, they got married in a church. The pastor issued them a certificate with a seal and everything on it. To me, it looked 100% like a civil marriage certificate, but it wasn't, and I didn't catch it. And their application got rejected. So I'm going to ask you guys again. Do you think that I was able to save that one? Actually, I kind of spoiled it, didn't I? What do you think? Do you think I was able to save it? I won't take a whole bunch of time about trying to respond to you guys' questions or wait for you guys to respond. So the reality is, I got too many things going on here. Oh, here we go. Let's pull off Gooner Boy's comment here. Of course, I wasn't able to save it. And that was one of those applications that just devastated me. Because in the end, it wasn't my fault. Because I trust my clients that they know whether or not their marriage certificate is the proper one for their country. I have no mechanism for assessing every country in the world, every possible birth certificate, every possible marriage certificate. And so I felt terrible. And in the end, I was not able to save it. But here is the one positive light. And let's see if there's anything positive. Let's bring down the things from heaven here. Down you come. The positive light was that 2 years later, so this was right around 2019, 2 years later, they got a notification of interest from the OINP for a human capital priority stream draw. Oh my goodness. So when I reconnected with them, of course, I didn't charge them a dime. We went through the whole application again, made sure that they had the proper marriage certificate, and now they are permanent residents of Canada. But can you imagine? Please, the moral of the story, if you're using a marriage certificate, do not use your religious marriage certificate that's issued by your pastor or your minister, or even the marriage certificate that's issued by a marriage commissioner or justice of the peace or whoever married you, okay? The key aspect is that it must be the civil status document for that state, that country, that province, whatever it may be. Do not make the same mistake I made. All right? Okay, let's see what else we have here. So yeah, Vinny and Rapunzel and everybody had lots of hope in me and lots of faith. And yes, Schooner Boy, it seems like a silly reason for rejection, but who cares? Like they don't care. It's all about expediency. You guys want your applications processed quickly. And the reality is you might get a quick decision, but you may not like the decision. Before Express Entry was created by the Conservative Party, there was a massive backlog of federal skilled worker applications. And for all intents and purposes, there was a lengthy backlog for the Canadian Experience class, which was also created under their watch. Those applications took over 2 years and sometimes as long as 6 years to process for a number of reasons. But one of the reasons was that they had the process and basically the procedure of issuing deficiency letters if someone submitted an application that wasn't correct. They would send it back and say, hey, you didn't provide the right police clearance or you didn't upload the right document. So we'll give you 30 days to return it to us. And that process caused massive delays, but nobody was refused for having an incomplete application. So flash forward to today, Express Entry since 2015 has been ruthless and cruel. No mercy for mistakes that you have made. But added on top of it is, oh, I don't have it. Where is he? Oh, he's gone. I thought I had him, but I don't have him anymore. He's disappeared. I was going to pull up Minister Miller, but the reality is we have a government who does not want you here. I don't care what they say. If they feel that the average Canadian is not going to vote for the Liberal Party because of this feeling that immigrants are taking jobs or taking homes away from someone, what the Liberal government has told all of you is that the votes are more important to us than all of you who have paid thousands of dollars to study, who have been here on a work permit paying taxes, who have been contributing to the economy. And there's a lot of people out there, they'll even watch this live stream. They'll post comments that are not favorable to immigrants. But there's a lot of people out there that the Liberals now feel are not going to vote for them unless they take the measures they're doing now. And personally, how do I feel about that? I wish immigration policy was driven not by public shaming in the media, but more so by sound forethought and contemplation and not just knee jerks. But that's the world we're in. So, fortunately for this lovely couple, they were able to get things resolved. But, because they were able to submit after. And yes, Vinny says officers under pressure to meet targets. Absolutely they are. And let's see what else we got here. Could they reject it as incomplete after the completeness check as well? Sure. They can do it at any time they want. And Mark says, Vinny, I'm thinking yes due to my own issues right now. Oh, you know what, guys? This is where, and I do my very best to try to do everything that I can to answer, to do these videos. I'm going to share one little thing with you here, which let's just jump back here and I'll just share it. This is something that I've talked about frequently in the past, but if you jump here and you look in the description below, there's a link here, you guys, to my Express Entry Masterclass. And right today, I'm going to share with all of you guys right now, I am offering a 50% off discount. So if you go here, and I'm not sure if I've even typed in my actual code. I don't think I have. What is the code? Igor told me about it. Let me just see if I can jump to it. Okay, so I'm going to copy the code here. Copy. So instead of the 347 until November, I think the 4th, you'll get 50% off if you subscribe to the course right now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here. Oh my goodness, I've got to turn these off. I can see now I've got all of them on. This is what happens when you have all of the overlays taking over your entire screen. It pretty much crashes your system. So, oh my goodness, that is hilarious. Okay, now I got to see if there's a way that I can get this back. Okay, let's see. And okay, wow, that is really doing a number on my screen. Hopefully you guys can still see me. Oh, wow. That was crazy. Okay, I better get this sorted out. Okay, let me get this straight. Halloween. That's weird. Why is it doing that? Oh, it's because of this particular font. Oh, seriously. Let's just go with Arial. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to post this, and this is the code so that you guys can use it. That is what it is. Okay, let's add this in. Okay, so there's the code, you guys. So if you want to, and let me just try to close out Vimmies here. Oh, I got too much going on here. Too much on the screen. Oh, there. Okay, so this is the code. If you go to the Express Entry Accelerator right here, and if you go, oh boy, this is really hard shifting around. My apologies. If you go here, and there's a link in the description below, and you click on Enroll Now, and then choose the one you want. And when you go here, if you type in the code, which if I jump back here, there's, oh my goodness, I'm having trouble, you guys. This oh my goodness, stop. The animals are taking over. So if you type in to the code EE Halloween 50 off, and I'll slide back here now. Wow, this has been some live stream. Hey, if you type that in right here, and I'll just expand this so that you can see it a little bit better. Okay, if you type in that code right there, EE Halloween 50 off, and you apply it, it will drop the price in half. And I can tell you, I don't remember the last time I did this, but hey, it's Halloween, and with Halloween, we're doing crazy things here. We're doing crazy things. So I'll just let you guys know about that. Okay, let's get back to the stories. So let's see what we've got. Yes, Hannah says, to your point, exactly. See what Quebec did today. You bet they did. And I'm going to have one of my colleagues in Quebec come and join me on the live stream to talk about it. Let's see. Gunnar Boy says, I've seen those comments. I think it's a case of us being unfairly blamed for inflation and unaffordable housing market. Exactly, Gunnar. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, Ramino says, Express Entry course is amazing. I recommend it to anyone. Thanks, Ramino. I appreciate it. Yes, Marissa, 100%. Discount is available. Discount for consultations as well. Nope. That's one I don't give a discount for, just because it's my direct time, and that time is precious. Okay. Is that from the move ring? Haha. Okay. All right. Could be. Okay. Mui Tree says, thanks, Mark, for the discount. Bought the course already. Thumbs up. We'll give you a howl. Okay. Let's jump back, guys. I want to get back to what we're talking about here. The next scary story. I've got two more to share with you before we wrap things up and I go spend some time with my family. All right. Here's another story. Once again, in this case, this is someone who came to me after their Express Entry application was they were absolutely rejected. Here's what happened. When you're submitting your application, you must submit a police clearance certificate that continues to be valid. So traditionally, police clearance certificates are valid for 6 months for the country in which you live. Now, I'm not going to go in, and in the past, I'd go provide the links and everything, but just listen. It's important. If your police clearance was issued after you left that country, then it doesn't expire. I'll repeat that. If your police clearance certificate was issued after you were already in Canada or in another country, then it will still be valid even if it's older than 6 months. And that's what happened for this client. The client submitted their application. They had a police clearance that was issued after they had left the country, but they opened up their email one day, a message from IRCC, an E series number. Oh, could it be my passport request? No. It was not. What it was way, way worse. The refusal. And why? Because of her police clearance certificate. So now you guys are asking, well, what the heck? Like, how is that even possible? Mark says that if the police clearance certificate was issued after you left, then it's going to be valid. So here's the one fact I left out. Here's the one detail I left out. And that detail was that she made a trip back to her home country for only 2 weeks. It was a short trip. She went back and she had done it before she submitted her express entry application. Now, here's a little insight that you won't hear anywhere else. In the early days of express entry, when I was heavily involved on the Canadian Bar Association, I spoke on 2 separate express entry panels with the heads of express entry at the National Canadian Bar Association Immigration Conference for immigration lawyers. And in both of those, I brought this scenario up to an officer. What if someone has a police clearance certificate and they return back to their home country for a short stay? Guess what the officer would always say? We don't get too fussed about these short little trips, right? That's what they said. But guess what happened in real life? Another officer, not at the top, you folks, but down, lower level officer processing the application, rejected it because the person had gone back. So, was Mark able to fix this one? No. This person lost not only their opportunity, but they never had another opportunity in the future. What happened? Well, CRS scores kept climbing. What else happened in the interim from when she submitted her application to when she got it rejected? She had a birthday. 5-point drop. And she never got another ITA again. All because of something so small, so just so insignificant, you would think. Where does it say you can't go back to your home country if your police clearance certificate was issued? And remember, by the time she submitted her EAPR, her police clearance certificate was older than 6 months. If it's within 6 months, go back as many times as you want. You return to Canada, submit your application. As long as that police clearance certificate was 6 months, no older than 6 months, then it's fine. But she had let it go past 6 months and she had gone back to her home country before she submitted. And so Camby says, looks like Lady Gaga. I'm not Lady Gaga. I am Vampire Garth. Okay. Moving forward. It's super tough, Gunner Boy. In fact, it sucks, and my heart broke for her. And yes, it's a blunder. And, there was no real LOE to explain it away. An LOE wouldn't have saved it. The reality is she should not have submitted that police clearance, even though she only went back for a short period of time. And there's lots of misinformation on the internet, lots of WhatsApp groups, lots of even on whatever, the Canada Visa forum, I've seen people saying, oh, it's not a big deal, not a big deal. Well, let me tell you guys, let's get the teeth for this one. IRCC is cruel. They will show no mercy. And if they have an opportunity now to refuse, they will. Simple as that. All right. Marissa says, oh no, we went back for a week, but after it was submitted. No scared. You're okay, Marissa. If you've submitted your application and then you go back, you're okay. But she left before. Okay. Let's jump to the final one. Actually, this one is scary. This one is very scary. It was a dark, stormy night. Let's see what else it was. Dark, stormy night. I wish I had. Oh, let's get some music going. Nah, that's kind of weird, isn't it? It's kind of weird. Yeah, that's too weird. That's too weird. Let's start it off with another thunder. It was a dark, stormy night. A person, I'm not going to say their name, was applying for their study permit to Canada, and they used an overseas agent from India who was not authorized. The overseas agent said, "I'm an expert. Pay me. I only charge 1 lakh to do your application. And I can guarantee your study permit's going to get approved." So the person said, "Great, I want to study in Canada." So they paid the money over. The crooked agent, yes, crooked agent, gave them a questionnaire to fill out, asked them for documents, and the person didn't hear from them for quite a while. They followed up and said, "What's the status of my study permit application?" The agent said, "It's just in process. Don't worry about it." They followed up a month later. "What about my study permit application?" "It's still in process." The person follows up 1 month later, says, "Where is my study permit? I need it because school is going to start." The agent says, "We're still waiting. You have to be patient." Then, about 2 weeks later or so, the agent contacts them and says, "Your study permit is approved. Congratulations." And the person is overjoyed that they hired that agent because they got their study permit approved. Flash forward. The person goes, studies in Canada, does extremely well in school, applies for their postgrad work permit, submits their profile. They get an ITA because they submitted their postgrad work permit, got it approved, worked a year, qualified for CEC, and they were in the earlier days of express entry. They got an ITA, submitted their express entry application, and were so happy, ecstatic, because them, unlike many of their friends, got the ITA and they were like one step away from getting their application approved. Awesome, isn't it? So exciting. Let's give them a wolf howl. Everybody's cheering. And then the email came. They looked at their inbox. Once again, an E-Series email saying, "You have a new message in your account." They're so excited. The one spouse holds off, doesn't want to open it up until her spouse comes home from work. The spouse comes home from work. They go in together. They take their mouse. They double click on the email. It opens up and it says, "File number, blah, 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 blah. Go to your account. You have a new message." So they didn't realize that the message wasn't right in there. So they went over to their IRCC secure account, their GC key. They logged in. They opened it up and they see their application has been refused. They open up the application and they're trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Why is it refused? They open up the refusal letter, and not only was their application refused, but they were found to have misrepresented on their application. What was the misrepresentation? That they had a previous study permit refusal. How is this possible, you guys? How is this possible? I want you to comment. Tell me how these people whose study permit got approved could have been found to have misrepresented themselves for failing to disclose a prior study permit refusal. How is it possible? Come on, I want to hear. Post in the comments. Why? We've got Hannah who says, "I know this case. This agent boarded up his office and fled his province in India. He was on a police lookout. He did this with many, many students, maybe hundreds, possibly. What did that agent do? Aside from being illegal and not being able to take money to file someone's application. What happened? I want your comments. Agent did not told. What did the agent not tell? The agent didn't tell them. Vermino says no idea. Vinny here and Dina, they're onto it. Come on, tell everybody else. No fake offer letters, Hannett. No fake offer letters in this one. Everything was legit. The person just used an agent. The agent did not told. What did the agent not tell? They were not aware of prior refusals that the fraudulent officer got. The agent didn't tell them about a previous refusal. Exactly, you guys. So the reason it took so long is because the first application was rejected. Exactly. The first was rejected. And because of that, they had no idea because the agent never told them. They just quickly put another application together, fixed whatever was wrong in the first one, and resubmitted it. Now, in fairness, the agent could have lied. The agent could have put some fake document in there to bolster their application. It's entirely possible. But the reality is they received a 5-year bar for misrepresentation. And what are they going to say? My illegal agent made the mistake. It's not my fault. So there you go. There you have it, you guys. This one, definitely crazy lady. That's the territory we are here. So there you go, guys. That is what we're dealing with today. Those are my scary stories, and I hope that they were beneficial. I hope you're able to learn from them. I hope you're able to see that this really express entry is a very scary world. And despite what people say, these cases can go horribly wrong, even in the most innocent circumstances. And I haven't even talked to you guys about situations where people were submitting applications where they weren't eligible. They answered the questions wrong and just, they misunderstood what was being asked. They thought they had a job offer. They didn't. They thought they had the CRS points that they didn't have, and their application got rejected. Well, that's fine. But all of those situations, you guys, are all for people who were just ineligible and didn't know it. These are applications where the people should have gotten them approved. But because of a crazy situation, failing to do some little tiny thing properly, they're out with the ghosts. Option gone, done. And I'll share something with you. When I first started doing these express entry applications in 2015, I saw instantly that there was going to be huge problems for people. And I knew I was in Canada, and often many people were not going to be able to afford my legal fees if they were coming from South Sudan, or they were coming from, even India or Pakistan to some extent, that they were going to have trouble paying my legal fees for me to represent them. So as I started to ponder what the future looked like, I said, you know what, why? And this was in the early days when I first created my podcast. I said, this doesn't make sense. Why don't I just do more live streams, do more outreach so that I can help people in a more amplified way? So I thought about creating a course. And the first one that I did was a very curated course. So one where people joined via webinar and I walked them through, but it was very personal. It was very, it took a lot of my time to the point where I wasn't able to service my own clients. And so I realized I needed to make a change. So the next version of my express entry course, when the first one was launched in 2016, was a DIY kind of video-based course where people could go through and they could watch the videos and it would show them how to respond, how to answer each of the questions. And I deliberately made it such that my 12-year-old daughter at the time would be able to understand and submit their application. And embedded within each of the lessons, I talked about the documents, kind of almost as a side note to how to fill out the forms. So the document instructions were kind of embedded in the work history, or they were embedded in the education history section, how to complete get an ECA, those kinds of things. But I found as the next few years went on that people were getting refused because of their documents. So I think it was 2019, I revamped the whole Express Entry course. I redid the whole thing all over, and I separated out the documents into their own module. I created separate individual lessons for each document with a video explaining how to do them. And then flash forward again to 2024, I've created my most recent version, which I'll tell you, I am so proud of. This has built off of the last, from 2016 till now, every single nuance, every single thing that I've learned, every single tip or trick, every refusal I've seen, both when we do our live Q&As every week, the people that are subscribing to the course. And I realized that all of these things that I saw happen, I could forewarn people. I could advise them well in advance so they didn't fall into the same traps that all these stories that I've shared with you. And in every single lesson, it's all designed to give you exactly what you need to avoid those issues. And I'll just show you here as I shrink this down, and I'm going to go to I think this one works here. In the course itself right here, and I'll try to get it just the right size, and I'm also going to enlarge this screen so you can see it. In here, right at the top, you will see something that I've added to the course, and it's this right here, this masterclass. Before, I had one cohort. Looks like I've got my green screen behind me here. I had one cohort of people per session. So people that subscribed during that 1-2-week window were able to attend a series of 5 masterclasses with me. And once it was done over that week, it was done. But I realized that people were not getting enough access to me. Now, the course itself, if I slide down to the bottom, you will see that the course is full of not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different modules. And this one here, Mastering Your Documents, that is the one that I'm the most proud of. There's an individual lesson for every single document, depending upon what you need. You can go in, you can watch the ones that apply to you. If you look at for example, the EAPR section alone, there are lessons that are for the principal applicant. You can see right here. And there's lessons that are for accompanying spouses. If you don't have a spouse, you don't need to watch these lessons. There's dependent children, and there's literally a section for every part of this process. And this is something, the EAPR one, that you're not going to see out there. Why? Because you need to have a real person's EAPR in order to be able to do a video like this. And so I was able to get clients who were willing to let me use their EAPR to record the videos. But the key is I've redacted all of their personal confidential information. So you can imagine how long it took to do that. But that is what the course is full of. There's the basics, where I cover every aspect of Express Entry generally, as well as some awesome case scenarios, even for Francophones. And then I even have a special lesson on learning French. Module 2 is all about determining your eligibility. And then Module 3 is completing your profile. And so each of these sections, there is, I don't know how much, like over 10 hours of individual modules associated with the course. And like I said, those of you who click right now and go to subscribe, let's see if it's even down here. If you enroll now and you type in the code, and let me go back here and I'll show you guys again what the code is. Oh, they're everywhere. The code is this. Let's see if I can pull it up. I think I should have it. Maybe I don't have it. Where's the code? Oh, here it is. Right here. So if you type in EE, Express Entry, Halloween, and I think I spelled Halloween correct, 50 off, you will have the ability to get that 50% off for the next, well, November 4th is when it expires. I'm just going to go back here and just show you guys again. So in here, if you just type in EE Halloween 50 off, and that's 50 off, and click apply, it drops the price down to $173.50 US. And here is what this is what I wanted to get to before I jump back there. And actually, I'm going to go back to share my screen with you again. And I'm going to go back to the course. If you go back up to the top, this masterclass happens bi-weekly every Wednesday from 4 to 6. And I go however long we have questions. This masterclass is available for life. And not only that, the people who subscribe to this course in 2016 have access to this version and every version thereafter that they want to use. So it's lifetime access for all updates. So if you're just thinking about Express Entry right now, there is absolutely no better time to do it. And I just want to end off by sharing a little story with you guys. Okay, let's see if we can. Oh, we just have the ghost floating by. So I'm going to wrap up. And remember, this is the code. I'll just leave it here. But I want to share a little story. Okay. So there was a summer about 3 years ago. And if you've been to Canada, you know, especially out in southern Alberta, it's pretty dry. So it's not like Vancouver where you've got rain and lots of moisture. But here, it gets pretty dry in the summer. So a lot of places, including my home, have underground sprinklers that water the grass. And you've probably seen them if you've been in Canada all across the country. Well, one winter, and here's the rule, if you have underground sprinklers, come the end of October, you need to blow out your sprinklers. Turn the water off, blow them all out of water, because guess what? Water expands. Well, what did Mark do? One winter, Mark forgot to blow them out. So come spring, I turn my sprinklers on, and guess what? Water starts to pool in my backyard because the sprinkler pipe broke under the ground, and I had to dig it out to figure out where the break was. But here's the issue. I shut the water off. It was starting to get summer. I needed to get the water on, and I promised my wife that I would get it fixed before we left on our short 3-day trip that we had to go on. Well, good old Mark, guess what I was doing? These live streams. I was having a blast. It was super busy with Express Entry, and we did a ton of podcasts, and I was just busy with work. And the days passed, and my wife said, Mark, just hire someone to do it. Just hire a professional to come fix it, and it'll be done. Oh, no. I can do it myself. This is not a problem. I can do it. I'm no dummy. Like, I've set up sprinklers before. I know how to do this. And in fairness, I did, but I just ran out of time. So the day came the night before we were to leave, and I forgot. I realized, oh, dang, I totally forgot. Well, I'll get to it when we get back after our 3 days away. So my wife and I were away, and I get this call from my kids. And they say, Dad, there's a person from the city over at our house. We don't understand what's going on. They say there's water in our backyard. And I'm like, what the heck? I shut the water off. Well, after talking to my children, I realized that after we left, the hot tub that we have in our backyard, the water level dropped. So they turned the water on outside so they could fill it with the hose. Guess what happened? When they turned that on, they shut the tap off on the hose, but the pressure kept running to the irrigation pipes and the system outside. And it ran for not 1 day, not 2 days, but 2.5 days before the neighbor who was behind me, their backyard started to flood. They called the city. The city sent someone over. They realized what it was. He reached into the irrigation box, turned it off, shut the tap off outside, and what a disaster. I came home. One of my big trees in the backyard literally started to tilt and lean because the wind was blowing on it, and the water was and made the soil so wet that it literally stretched the roots of the tree, and the tree has never been the same. I'd like to say that that was the only issue, but guess what Mark did? Mark then hired a professional to come fix the damage that he could have resolved without all of these problems. So not only did I have an unhappy neighbor, a destroyed backyard, an irrigation system that was broken for far too long, but when I got my water bill, it was almost $1,000 that month for the water that I had wasted because of my fault. So guess what my wife had to say after that? Mark, I told you so. And the reality is, sometimes in life, it's just better to hire a professional. And I'm telling you this story because I learned from my own experience. Could Mark fix the pipes? Yes, I could fix them. Did Mark have a busy life? Yes. Could I have had it done and just saved all the money and hired the professional? Yes. But I felt, hey, only idiots need to hire someone else to do this. This is a simple job. Well, the reality is sometimes in our lives, life gets busy. Sometimes we don't have hours to go on YouTube searching videos like this for the answers to questions. And heck, could you even trust them, right? And so that's why I created the Express Entry course. And within our firm, Healthy Immigration Law, we absolutely love when people hire us and we work directly with you to do your Express Entry applications. We make sure that no stone goes unturned. We make sure that we evaluate your applications forensically. There's no assistants, there's no paralegals, there's no consultants, there's no one in between us as immigration lawyers and you. We work directly with you. We teach you. And we love when people hire. And I hope that people who watch this video who are filing their Express Entry applications say, oh my goodness, I had no idea there were so many ways this could go wrong. And more so than ever before, you may never get a second chance. And that, I can't tell you how many times I've said that to people. You don't get a second chance. And so when people are filing their Express Entry applications, some might say, well, Mark, look, I just don't have the money to afford. I can't pay you the $5,000 that you charge to submit my Express Entry application. I know that if I hire you, it's going to help, but I can't afford it. So essentially what I did was I created the course right here so that I could not only take my one-to-one time with one person that I charge $5,000, but instead help 50 or 100 people at the same time. And then I charge each of them when they click on enroll now until November 4th. And you can see you've got the full course here. There's an Express Entry option there, or obviously the consult. But when you click on enroll now and you punch in the code, and you guys have seen what the code is right here, EE Halloween 50 off. When you punch in that code, you get 50% off, and it has been EE Halloween 50 off. It has been probably 2 years since I offered a 50% off discount. And why do I not offer a discount? It's pretty simple, you guys. It's because of this right here. It's because of this masterclass. So you, on top of the 10 hours of video content, you get access to the entire masterclass series in perpetuity. Every 2 weeks, you can come. If there's any question, which I seriously doubt now, the way the course is, that people are coming up with anything new. Usually when people ask questions, it's a confirmation that they haven't watched the videos. But I'm there to answer any specific questions that you have. So tell me where. I'd really like to see. You're going to get the same for $173.50, the same value. And that is what I am offering. And why do I do it? It's because of all of these horror stories. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate all of the comments. I'm going to take a few minutes right now to answer any questions you have about the course. I'll go through and answer some of the Q&A questions. We're really covering, we're about an hour and 20 minutes right now. If you do have specific questions about Express Entry, I'm happy to share. And I see this here. I wish I could pull up the actual logos, but love it, love it, love it. So I appreciate that. You beat me to it. Haha. Gooner Boy says massive bill. Absolutely. And that is a horrible, horrible situation with that. I've never made that same mistake again when it comes to hiring a professional. And Prince says became a member. Awesome. Fantastic. Okay. Let's get to a few questions. Aditya says, what to do if the study permit got refused and already started the third semester and completed 2 months of study? Book a consult. I'm serious. Right there, book a consult in your situation, because it is absolutely impossible for me to know how to deal with your situation without more facts. That is so horrible. I am so sorry to hear that. In the link below, all you have to do is go to our website, click on book a consultation, and you can schedule it right now with any member of my team. Alicia, myself, Igor, we're all Canadian immigration lawyers, and it's super easy. All you have to do is click on the link and you can literally pick your next availability. So obviously we have to go to the next month because it's October 31st, but you can see you can book consults. Alicia's got lots of time. The same for me. I've got lots of time available. Just choose which lawyer you want to use and you can go from there. Okay, let's jump back. Let's get to some more questions. All right. But in your case, when you have a situation like this, you absolutely need to just book a consult so we can go through everything and figure out exactly what happened. Okay. Afreen says, hi, Mark. I'd like to know how many interactive video conferences does the Express Entry course include? Well, there's over 10 hours of content. So if we go back to the Express Entry, let's just jump right back and I can show you. Okay. So let's go back. I've got trick-or-treaters. Hopefully my wife is going to go get them. So if you go here, you'll see at the bottom, all of the lessons are all laid out here. So if we go through the numbers, and 8 is a bonus. It's a bonus. There's a whole bunch that are growing there that are just bonus content. But you can see that right now there are 65 individual lessons. And those 65 lessons are all broken down. You know what? I'll just show you. Oh, 1 second. They're wanting their candy. I'll be back in 1 second, you guys. I'll be back in a second. Oh, gotta get my teeth. Oh, I think we're out of candy. Sorry, we're out of candy. That's why my wife turned the light off. But you know what? We got live wire. Yay! Mark, I'm gonna drop them in there. Live wire. Yeah. Woo. How's it going, guys? That's why we're turning the lights off, because we ran out of candy. We figured, but we came all this way over here. We walked all the way from Milo. Hello. How are you? Good to see you. Why are you a little girl? Did you get everything? Yeah. Yeah, I know you are. Here we go. Here. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Okay, we ran out of candy, but then my nephew, my two nephews brought all their kids. I'm so sorry, you guys. You're probably thinking I'm a crazy person. I am. I've got so much going on. Okay, anyways, I was just going to share with you right here before I was rudely interrupted. Let's go in and I'm just going to log in to, I think it's this one here, mine. Yeah, this one. Okay, I'll just show you exactly what you can see inside. So not that one. You can see these are all previous versions of it. Not that one. I've recreated that one. Not that one. Not that one. These are all previous courses that we've created. Oh, you have to check this one out, you guys. This is Igor's Canadian Visitor Visa course. Phenomenal course. Just released. It's also got a super discount on it. But jumping down here, you can see Express Entry Accelerator finally here. That's where it is. So this is what you see when you log in, okay? And all of the lessons, learning the basics, determining eligibility, completing your profile, all of these lessons are here, but I want to just show you, give you a quick little sneak peek into my favorite one, which is records of employment. And in each of these videos, each of these, you're going to have a video. You can see this one is 25 minutes long alone, just talking about all the problem areas with records of employment. But then along the side, you'll see, look at all of these sample reference letters. Tons and tons and tons of reference letters. This is records of employment, instructions for employers, a checklist for your reference letters. What if I can't get one? We have our knock selection tool, which is awesome. Shows you how to present your actual reference letter and work history in a way that officers will accept and agree. And then we've got samples that you can use for other creating reference letters, as well as a CEC hours of work tool, FSW hours of work tool, calculating your hours. I absolutely love this. So there you go. That is a sneak peek. I don't usually show that, but that's a little insider. Okay, let's get back to some more questions. Man, that ghost likes coming. Let's bring the other one across. Yeah. Oh, actually, let's get them both going. That's what we'll do. Every time we shift, we'll get ghosts going, and we'll bring bats too. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's get to some more questions here. Okay, let's see. Hatem says, I want to apply for Express Entry CEC, and I have only 10 months experience in Canada, and 2 months with an employer did not pay me. Sue the employer. Sue them. Can I apply and later claim 12 months with my current employer only? No, you cannot. You must have, when you apply and submit your application, you must have that 1 year. Now, here's the thing. Some people who have not yet reached their full 12 months will realize that if they create and answer all the questions, that it rounds up by month. So you could technically start October the 31st and go till September the 1st the next year, which is only 10 months and 2 days, and it would allow you to submit your profile. But the reality is, when you're completing the wizard, that eligibility tool, it says, do you have 1 year of Canadian work experience? Well, when you're doing that, you had to have misrepresented at some point. If you're saying yes, which allows you to then start your Express Entry profile. So my advice always is never, ever do that. You need to make sure you meet the eligibility at the time in which you create your profile. Now, like I said, some people do. And the reality is, if you don't get an ITA until after you've kept working, well, then you're probably going to be okay. But you have to be very careful if you get an invitation to apply and you do not yet have that 1 year when you get your ITA, then you have to be very, very careful how you deal with it. And, one of the things that I'll give you a little, this is like stuff that, you'll not hear a lot about, but IRCC will allow an application to go forward if you word your letter of explanation right. And in the course, I've got a separate lesson just on 2 ways in which I do LOEs, one for documents and one for information, but you'll learn about that in the course. But when you're filing your application, do not submit your EAPR until you have actually worked the full year, or sometimes it's the second year you're getting points for, or the third year you're getting points for in Canada. Make sure that you do not submit until you've hit the full year or 2 or 3 that IRCC was giving you points for, okay? I'm glad you like the costume, Christina. Okay. Okay. AN says, if a person has already submitted PR application to IRCC, received an acknowledgement of receipt, and it's in the process, P&P non-express entry pathway, how is that going to be affected? Please comment. I don't know what you mean. Did you make a mistake? And because of that mistake, you have to correct something? I'm not quite sure, AN, what you mean by that. Okay. Let's keep going. And there are super chats that are also available, but I'm going to try to answer a few questions here. Okay, we've got Hatem. Oh, okay. Afrin says, correction, the bi-weekly video conferencing with you where we can ask questions. Thank you. Yes, sorry. Just to clarify, so here's what the masterclass is. It's different than a live Q&A because we dig deep into your specific circumstances. Anyone who's ever subscribed to the course in the past can join. Sometimes we have 10 people. Sometimes we have 30 or 40 people. But anyone can come back as many times as they want. It's through our own community group in Kajabi, so it's not through YouTube. So it's kind of like like a Zoom call. So you can turn your camera on, you can ask the question directly. I usually have people post their comments, and everybody learns from everyone else in the same way that we do with the live Q&A. And so you can go on, and sometimes if I don't quite understand, like in this case, I didn't understand some of the previous question, I'll just say, okay, just turn on your mic, or if you want to turn on your video, just explain, and then we'll have a conversation, and everybody learns. It's an awesome, awesome method. And that is like our live Q&A on steroids. It's so good, and it's focused exclusively on Express Entry. So we dive right deep in. And so think of how much you pay. Like if you want to book a consult with me, it'll cost you $315 for a 25-minute consult. Well, you pretty much have a consult with me every other week, just if you subscribe to the Express Entry course. Okay, we'll go a couple more, and then we'll wrap it up here. Anne says, does the Express Entry profile ineligible also need to be declared in future PR application to be safe from misrep? I do. So if you submit your Express Entry, well, no, here, let me rephrase that. If you're trying to submit your profile and it says you're ineligible and you never actually complete it and file it, then you don't need to worry about that. If you've had a profile in the queue that you either withdraw, or a profile that, well, one that has lapsed with time, it's been in a year and then it's canceled, I always explain that. I always disclose that. I do. Okay, let's see what else here. I'm going to go up to the answer just a couple more questions here, and then we'll wrap up. Let's see here. Oh, we got my cousin. There's another cousin. It really suits him. That's funny. You guys are funny. Okay. That's my cousin, Wendy. Let's see. Let's see. This was one of my favorite comments, you guys. Blonde Mark Miller. Okay. Okay, Dude Bro. Let's see what all of Dude Bro's question is here. Give me a second. Okay. Okay. He says, is not submitting all pay stubs misrep? A few stubs have. No, it's not misrep. I'm getting hair in my mouth here. It's not misrep in any way, shape, or form. And actually, I'm going to give you one of these, because that is a fantastic question, and we'll drop some stuff down for you. So, Dude Bro, it's not. In fact, I prefer to do that. But what I do is I include a couple pay stubs, and this is what I teach in the course from the beginning, a couple pay stubs that are the most recent ones, maybe 2 or 3. And then if you have multiple years that you're claiming, maybe 1 or 2 for each year that, is in between. So it just saves the officer time, because I've had situations where they've requested pay stubs from clients, and what they're really concerned about is, do you have pay stubs from the beginning when you started work, and pay stubs at the end when you claim for that time period? And in between, well, it's likely you're probably going to have pay stubs for that too. So no, it's not misrep, and that's a fantastic question. I'll give you another howl. Well done. Well done. Okay, let's keep zipping through here. Let's see if we get a few more good questions before we wrap her up here. This Halloween special. And I don't know what I got here. Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff. Okay. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, this is so hard. This is Facebook. Dewang says, I'm already waiting 1.5 years for my wife's PR online. I'm in Canada and wife with son in China. Oh my goodness, this is one of these. 6 times now they send back and say not complete. Can't even get past the document checklist. And that's with the lawyer and also local MLA involved. Dewang, I don't know what to tell you, my friend. Like, I don't know. If you are submitting a visitor visa application for your wife and child, well, those get rejected. But you said here PR, so I'm assuming it's a spousal sponsorship. Yeah, it's a mess. If it's your wife's PR and you've submitted it online, yeah, that's a horror story. That's actually that's equal to all the other ones that we have here. Absolutely. That's one of these ones, actually. Yep, her. All right. Let's keep zipping through. My heart goes out to you. If you hired an immigration lawyer, you talk to your MLA. Like, I don't know what to tell you, Dewang. Obviously, if you want to book a consult, I'm happy to take a look at it, see if there's anything that we can do. But it's heartbreaking to know that you've submitted it 6 times and it hasn't worked out. Okay. Shazzy says, what an original and entertaining show. Let's see what else we had here. Okay, this is a question that I get a lot. So Austin says, hi there, just want to ask if I can go back home even though I don't have status right now. My work permit extension got refused, but I just got a positive LMIA and just waiting for the new work permit. What can I do? Thanks. I can tell you, I've got another, okay, I got more trick-or-treaters. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. Oh, remember my teeth. All right. Sorry, I'm back. Okay. Had a couple more trick-or-treaters there. Okay. We're back. Halloween is so much fun. It's so awesome. Okay. So yeah, Austin, in your situation, this is another one that I'll ring that bell and I'll tell you to slide over and book a consultation. There's a consult link in the description below. I need to see more information, my friend. The reality is when you are waiting for your work permit, what I'm trying to understand here, you said you don't have status right now. So your work permit extension got refused, but you just got a positive LMIA. So I'm assuming you're within the 90 days, hopefully. Are you able to restore your status? Is that what you're doing? Because if you're past the 90 days, you don't have the ability to restore your status and it's just a mess. Okay. Prosper says, do we have age limit when it comes to express entry? No, but there is a window between 29 and 40, 29 really and 45. That's when you really start to lose points fast, where you lose points. So once you turn 30, you lose 5 points and you lose 5 points all the way up until 39. Then once you hit 40, you start losing 10 points every birthday that you have. So the older you are, the less likely it is you're going to qualify, Prosper, because age is one of the factors on the CRS. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to wrap it up there, guys, for today. Thanks a lot, everyone else, for connecting in. This was a lot of fun. We had thunder. We had wolves. We had ghosts joining us today. We had bats. Let's see if I can get the bats going. We had screams, and it was just a royal scream entirely. So thanks very much for tuning in. It was a lot of fun. And we'll just pull this off right here. And what was this one? This was all about our express entry horror stories, the horrors, real cases that went terribly wrong. And I want to thank the 2024 Express Entry Accelerator is the sponsor of this little video. And now I'm going to enjoy the rest of Halloween with the fam. Take care.